Well, we know regional Australia is on the brink of a labour shortage, and harvest season approaching means that $6 billion of produce is at risk, with a regular number of international workers plunging by half from 140,000 down to about 70,000. Border closures making the movement of Australians even harder to get to work. Well, crops could soon be left to rot. But the Federal Joint Standing Committee on Migration has a plan. Send young Australians, university students, recent graduates, out to pick Australian fruit and in return discount their HECS debt. The chairman of the committee and member for Browra and New South Wales Liberal MP Julian Leeser joins me now. Julian, take us through this plan, this idea. How would it work?
Well, the idea, Peter, is that you're quite right. We have a significant shortage in Australia of people to pick our fruit and vegetables. The working holiday makers on some farms represent up to 60% of their workforce. And with working holiday makers, that's foreign backpackers not here, the obvious people to take their place are Australians, young Australians, who would otherwise have thought about going overseas to have a gap year of some sort, whether they're school leavers or university leavers or people looking to take a career break. We've got a great country, and the working holiday maker experience in Australia is terrific. It's the reason why this country is the #1 destination for working holiday makers in the OECD. So what we've said is that the government should devise and implement urgently a campaign to get young Australians to have a gap year at home, where they go out and they pick fruit and they make a contribution to the harvesting of what is an absolutely vital national industry in our country. In exchange, we'd look at giving them not only payment for the work that they do, because it is paid work, but also some consideration of some discount on their HECS or help debt as an additional incentive. I think...
OK, so let me just pick you up there so I can follow it. You'd be expecting the farmer, as the farmer normally would, the grower, to pay the worker. So that wouldn't be coming from the taxpayer. That would be a worker. That would be the company or the farm's cost. But in terms of discharging a HECS debt component, and that's an incentive, I guess, them to take on the hard work, that would cost the taxpayers, Julian. But I guess you're saying the trade-off is this fruit doesn't rot and we get it into our economy and out into our trade exports.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, we heard stories that farmers are already pulling out their trees. We heard a story from Emerald of a farmer pulling out 100 hectares of his trees. And to get that production up and going will take 6 to 7 years again. It's 15% of his farm. It's millions of dollars. If farmers across the country are doing that, it'll mean less money for the agricultural sector. It'll mean less for exports. It'll mean less fruit and vegetables on our shelves, and it'll mean higher prices, so that there's a real national need to do something to encourage people to go and do this work.
Well, if going by the online reaction, and I listened to a bit of talkback today, it's certainly a popular idea. What do your colleagues think about it? Do you think the government, your government, is going to take it up?
Well, it was a unanimous recommendation of our committee, and I know David Littleproud, the Agriculture Minister, has been looking at a range of measures. The reason why we've given this interim report is because we wanted the government and the Parliament to benefit from the many stakeholders that we've heard, including a number of farmers and other organisations that have promoted this idea to us, and we think it's one that's worth considering. I think young Australians always want to make a contribution to our country. My message to them is that the country needs you and that it's better to go out and see Bundaberg before you go and see Berlin.
Julian, Leeser, thank you very much, and we love solutions. It's great to have a solution, not just problems. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Peter.